Hi, this is Ron Cook. So I'm going to have a chat with the Killeen Police Department's Police Chief, Chief Kimble. I want you to come listen in. I did a little research on you, and I discovered that there was like a nationwide search for your position here, and discovered there was like 42 applicants. And correct me at any point if I get any stats wrong. And then down to 6, and then which led to you holding this position here. But I did notice that you came out of the Fort Bragg area of Fayetteville. So let me start there with that. Is there similarities with the communities, first off, from the military community, and do you think that's what kind of edged you out for the position, obviously besides your experience, but with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of marketed myself of, I had the experience. One, Fayetteville and Killeen have some great similarities. Both are great all-American cities. They are homes. They support 2 of the largest military installations in the world.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to be an assistant police chief in Fayetteville, the police chief of 2 other organizations in North Carolina, good military connected. And I believe that experience I think I was a perfect fit for this job. When I interviewed for it, yes, it was a nationwide search. And when I interviewed for it, I marketed myself. I thought, and I still think I do, I had a very unique experience because to work in a military community is different.
Got it.
It's different. And I was in the military. My wife retired military. Both of my sons are in the military. So we grew up.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Right, yeah.
We grew up in a military household. So I know what it feels like when you get those orders and one of your family members has to leave. Then one of the spouses is here have to do everything by themselves. Then the oil got to get changed in the car.
That's
the bills
right.
still got to get paid, and the kids got to get to school.
Right.
So the one thing you don't want to worry about is not having a police force that doesn't understand that. I understand those dynamics, doing it in North Carolina, and now doing it here in the Killeen, Bell County area. So I believe that allowed me to be marketable for the
And
job.
is it safe to assume that a good portion of your police force are also ex-military?
Absolutely.
And they come in with that mindset?
Either have served in the military or grew up in the military as a military dependent or military child.
Right.
So I don't have the exact numbers, but I would assume that number is well above 70%.
Wow. Yeah. That's surprising.
Between our officers and our civilian force. Our civilian force is just as important as our military, just as important as our officers
Right.
On the police department. And there's a lot of military of connection in the Killeen Police Department.
Got it. So we need a leader that understands that
Yes.
dynamic for sure. But I also see that you entered the force in Milwaukee.
Yes.
Are you originally from there, or you just happen to be
No.
in that area?
that is my hometown.
Okay.
My parents were part of the big migration from the South back in the 60s. They came up from the Arkansas, Mississippi area, and then they landed in Chicago, then eventually in Milwaukee. That's where me and my brother, that's where we were born and raised. A lot of my roots my parents are still there in Milwaukee. So a little cold, right now.
I got it. Yeah.
They look forward to coming south during the winter time to visit.
Well, same for my mother. She's visiting now from New York, so she winters now in Texas. So I appreciate that. So why the police force? I mean, what led you to that? Is there a family lineage, or was there something that drew you to that?
No, so I kind of blame it on my church.
Okay.
So I grew up. My church in Milwaukee was predominantly African American, and some of the earlier black police officers went to that church.
Yeah.
So I grew up an infant in that church, and I saw the police officers. I saw them solve problems. I saw them take care of people inside the church. I literally watched them day by day, and I said, when I grow up, I'm gonna be just like you guys.
Got it.
And then they mentored me and guided me along. They told me what to do. They told me go in the military. When she gets out of the military, get in the police department, get your degrees, and I still talk to some of those people today. So I was lucky enough to literally have mentors who were police officers as I was growing up and they still will guide me and give me advice today.
Got it. The last time you and I spoke, you mentioned wanting to change the image of the police from door kickers to like community activists or problem solvers. Explain a little bit of that. What's your mindset behind all of that?
Yeah, when you look at the history of policing, and particularly post Vietnam, and there was a lot of people entering the police force back then, and it was very militaristic. You had the really dark uniforms and the boots, and then we had the big war on drugs, and was it needed then? That's for a whole nother debate. But I think the tide is turning that police should be part of the community. You should know those police officers, and I try to bring that spirit of community policing to Killeen, that if we know each other, we all have a vested interest in keeping the community safe.
Right.
So if we're connected, you know me, I know you. You have a problem, we can get that problem solved. Actually, we can head off problems. If you know the person, the police officer or the chief or the commander, you can head off problem by dealing with issues in schools and in churches and your boys and girls clubs and things like that. So it pays for us to work together, the community and the police, to solve problems, to head off problems. And once we head them off, if we do have problems, you know the person who's going to solve them.
Right. That's a big difference.